Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I appreciate you guys for coming back. Yes, we are here today because we are doing a reaction to Anton Daniels on a very hot topic that is going on right now. No more Section 8, no more free rides, as you've seen in the title. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Let's get into it.
Y'all, I'm about to say something real uncomfortable. I'm going to say the real uncomfortable loud. And this is not directed towards one demographic at all. But the mindset of being on welfare or public assistance and it being a generational thing, that shit got to stop. After what happened yesterday, the support is not going to be there anymore.
Now, this is one of the biggest topics right now, and that is the fact that the Trump administration, as of now, is going to be cutting off like Section 8, food stamps. They're going to be cutting a lot of things due to the fact that we are in an incredible debt right now in the trillions, and we're trying to fix up our economy so that way we can be on point. Our food can go down again, where we're not paying so much for even our groceries. We're not paying so much for our rent because everything was inflated so badly because of the Democratic Party. Now, I will say this. I myself have never been on Section 8, but I have utilized food stamps, and that's because I actually needed them. There was a point in time where I was homeless, and the job that I had wasn't really cutting it, and so I had to really get myself together. So I was on general relief before, and like I said, I've taken food stamps before. I've had vouchers. I've had hotel vouchers. So I'm saying that it is necessary. Though these things are useful when you actually need them. Okay, they're useful when you actually need them, but then you got a lot of people who misuse it, who abuse it, so that way they don't have to work, and they can just sit, chill, and do whatever they want and eat for free, pretty much. And it's like, yeah, it does have to stop. I definitely agree with her so far, and I think what they're doing is, I don't think they're going to take it away entirely. I think they're just putting in a lot more restrictions to stop people who are not or who don't actually need it, to stop them from using it or abusing it more so. I would say. I think that might be the case here.
They're cutting all types of funding. I know people, we all know someone who has had baby and baby and baby after baby to stay on public assistance.
Yeah.
People are not going to have that option.
I actually happen to have a cousin. I have a cousin who, and she's not my first cousin. She's technically my second cousin, so my parents' cousin. And she has over 12 children, but no man, and she's having it with multiple men, and she is on welfare, and she brags about all the money that she gets. Yeah. So yeah, we all know a family member like this. Okay. And I happen to have one myself. So I it is absolutely crazy. And they feel like, oh, it's perfectly fine. And up until you have something like this happens, and now you about to be stuck with 12 children and no Section 8, what are you gonna do? It's gonna be a bad time, baby. A bad time.
Option anymore. It's time to wake up, it's time to get up, and it's time to do something better for yourselves. Like, this shit is about to be so real. Section 8 being passed down from one family member to the other, they cutting all that shit out. That's going to be no more. I literally know people who have passed their Section 8 down from grandmother to mother to daughter. And I'm not judging anybody, because I, as a young single mother in my 20s, I was on all the assistance. I took full advantage of all the assistance. So I'm coming from a place of, I was there. But again, the government's not going to take care of these kids anymore. They're not going to take care of you. And think mentally, we have to start changing the way we do things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. She's on point. She's on point. We do have to start changing the way we view things. We got to stop relying on our government to take care of us, and we have to learn to take care of ourselves for sure. I mean, that's how it's supposed to be. If you think about it, back in the day, before welfare even came to be, I would say, and I'm speaking primarily for the Black community. I'm saying that we were prospering very well, like our economy as a whole, as a group, as for for Black folks back in the day, we were doing big things. Okay, we owned a bunch of businesses. We took care of each other, and family was like a big component of that. Now don't get me wrong, that's not to say that every family was perfect back in the day, because we also had a lot of abuse and things of that nature as well. So I'm not trying to discredit that, but I am saying that there were a lot of heavyweight families that contributed to that kind of success. And that's because we had the man in the home, we had the roles that we had. We made sure our kids was on point at that time. And we knew that we didn't want to rely on our government, because the government didn't have our back to begin with. I mean, hello, slavery and all that other stuff that happened, right? So we had to figure out a way to take care of ourselves, and it took brain power to do so. Now, when welfare came in the mid 60s, that's when everything kind of just fell apart, because then the government said, oh, well, you know what, we're going to acknowledge you now. We're going to go ahead and acknowledge you and give you that quote unquote help that you think that you need, because there was a group of folks back then in the 60s that was screaming that we need this and we need that, when technically could have definitely got it on your own. But that's a whole nother subject for later. But when the welfare system did come in to play, they told the Black families, hey, you want this extra money coming in, you want this government assistance, you cannot have a man in your home, no husband, no boyfriend. You can have as many kids as you want. Each kid is going to come with a cost. But under no circumstances do we want you having any form of a man at home. And then lo and behold, you got a lot of women out there that said, okay, screw men, we could do everything on our own. And then that's when things just started to fall apart. The families started to fall apart. And then even our businesses that we had started to fall apart too. In fact, it started falling slowly but surely, to where now a lot of the businesses that we have are nowadays, in today's time, mostly I don't know, I don't want to be rude, y'all, but it's mostly businesses that are not producing anything that could be made useful for the long run. Like, we had our own banks. That is something that is produced that is great for us in the long run. We had our own car companies. Those are companies that are produced to be that could be produce things for the long run, for the long haul. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. Those type of businesses ended. They stopped. We don't have those anymore. We don't have our own car companies. We don't have our own we don't have a lot of companies that, like steel companies. We had our own steel companies. We had a lot that were made useful that can go a long way in the long run. We don't have those anymore. And don't get me wrong, I'm all for entrepreneurism. I know there's a lot of people who selling clothes, makeup, jewelry, things that are very good for the consumer as far as making themselves look good. But as far as producing big companies, I mean, super big companies that can produce a crazy amount of wealth, we no longer have that. And I think the welfare system took a part of that as well, along with, other stuff that was going on during that time. But I think the welfare system was a piece of that for sure.
I think that she's absolutely right, bro. I can't say that she said anything that's wrong. I know that most of us that come from a certain community actually, we are familiar with this whole thing, and that we've known people who has basically been on food stamps their entire life. and they've never made any effort to get off of it whatsoever. Now, let me be very
Yes, that's very true. And you know what? There is actually for and just this is a personal note, but my grandmother is the one who told us kids, that if ever there is a time that you do need welfare, you make sure that as soon as you don't, you get off of it. She said that because welfare is a crutch. Now, my grandmother is from that era. Okay, she's from that era where it was like fresh and new, well, with the welfare system, and she saw a lot of stuff that was going down with it. She saw what was happening, and she saw what was happening to her people because of it. So she warned us and said that if there was ever a time that we needed welfare, if we absolutely need it, go ahead and make use of it, but you make sure that as soon as you are done and that you got yourself together, you got yourself on your feet, you cut it off immediately, because then you build a crutch for yourself. And she's like, eventually there's going to come a time it's going to run out, and it's not going to be pretty. And lo and behold, so I'm very grateful to have a grandmother who cares enough for us to look out for us and tell us the truth. That's again a personal note, because you do have people out there who abuse the crap out of it and they never get off. And now look at them. I guarantee you they're gonna feel lost. They're gonna be like, what am I gonna do now? Get a job, go to work hard, use that brain that God has given us to be able to do what you got to do so you can become successful if you really want the success. Don't be lazy about it.
clear. I think there are people that need it, right? I know people that are disabled that have paid into the system that now need some form of assistance. I know people that, you know, fell on hard times and that they do need some form of assistance. I think that Section 8 food stamps, it could be beneficial if it wasn't so taken advantage of. And we've seen the system become so corrupt, and that there are people that have been on it their entire lives, which has completely baffled me, right? Because when I was going through it and when I lost my job in 2008, and I actually had a child, my daughter was born in February of 2008 at the height of the crisis in Detroit, Michigan. I didn't qualify for whatever reason. I didn't qualify. So I had to grind and hustle, and we basically had to stick together. We had to band together as far as community.
I have a theory as to why he didn't qualify. I think it's because he's a man, a black man in particular. And that's just my humble opinion, because they were very lenient when it came to the welfare and being acceptable to black women. But when it came down to black men, that was a problem. And then don't try to find yourself trying to get welfare being married, because they do say that you quote unquote can't, believe it or not. They used to say that back in the 60s and the 70s. They're like, oh, if you happen to have a husband, we have a subsection, that you can apply for, and we can see about it. But they always, every single time, always denied married couples welfare, even though they were borderline, like extremely into poverty. They still didn't allow it. They systematically made it so you had to not have a man in the home, and they made it very hard for black men to make use of it too. So I wouldn't doubt that that's probably one of the reasons as to why he was denied for it. I'm just saying, welfare played a very huge role in the breakup of the family, and I think it was just a pawn in a bigger scheme of things, in my humble opinion, from the government of that time.
Community resources to make sure that we was able to make it. We all moved in together. We figured it out. We pulled our resources. We split bills. I went and got 2 full-time jobs, and we just made it work. We figured it out. And actually, it turned out to be a blessing, because not being dependent on the federal government allowed for me to really show my worth, to show what I was or who I was as a man, because, those hard times kind of gave me the mentality to grind and hustle the way that we really taking advantage of it now.
Y'all heard that. Okay? Y'all heard that. He said it was those hard times that made him think. Okay, that made him think to himself, like, hey, you know what? Actually, I think I can do something. I think that, you know, okay, I think I know my worth. I know how hard I need to play it in order to become successful. And Anton Daniels is a very successful man, very much so. And he talks about his success on his channel, which I really do hope you guys go ahead and follow. Now, I want to see the comment section and I want to take a look and see what people are saying about his take on all of this. So let's take a good look. Hey, everybody, just letting y'all know. You see how I subscribe to his channel? Could you go ahead and do that for me? Much appreciated. And I'm also going to, bam, like it. And you know what? I'm also sharing it right now on my platform. So if you can, please do the same for me. I do appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Thank you. Now, let's get into this comment section, shall we? Let me go ahead and make this a little bigger for you guys. All right. So, what do we have here? Okay, we're starting off with some jokes. Dear welfare recipients, time to get a job. All right. The bum era is coming to an end. And as a single individual who pays the most taxes and gets the least amount of handouts, I am here for it. I love this comment because that is so real. Because I am the same person. I'm a single person and I pay all my taxes. And it's like, I haven't had any handouts in years now since I've been working and got my own place and things of that nature. But yeah, I was paying my taxes and it's like I'm out here and it's too much. It's too much, man. Let's see here. Had my son at 20. His mother turned 19 the day he was born. Never any Section 8, no food stamps. We just worked and finished college. Now our son is a college grad himself with a stable career. Stop the cycle. Yes, I'm liking that too. You guys understand, like, believe it or not, easy times make it hard for people. Okay, I know you probably heard that saying before, but easy times make for hard easy men make for hard times, basically. I think I said that correctly. But yeah, this has been a big issue. Okay. Now, let's get into some more here. Folks have been abusing this for 30 plus decades. Yep, absolutely. The great humbling has begun. All right. Like, look at all these. So he's got a lot of people here in the comment section that are definitely agreeing with him. It says, what makes me angry, this last one. So what makes me angry is my mother is in her late 60s and only has Social Security as income, and she's denied food stamps. What the F? And she worked 2 jobs for dang near 40 years and paid into the BS system. Now that is sad. That is honestly horrible. It's one of the worst things to have to sit back and watch all these people out here be able to fool the system and get as many food stamps as they want and all this other stuff. And then you have people who are in their who are elderly in their 60s and their 70s, and they've looked forward to retirement only to find out that they can't get everything that they need to take care of them after working so hard for the country. Yes, and I said that. Our older generation, they paved the way for all of us. And they put in a lot of the work. They put in a lot of the money, the taxes, to be able to get us the stuff that we got right now. And to think that they are not getting what they're owed. They're not getting the help that they deserve. Because you've got some Americans out there, or not even some, a lot, that are abusing the system, that are taking money so they can sit on their lazy ass and not do anything. And then want to be the same ones to complain about the very system that's given them what they already got. I, for one, am taking a stand against it. And I stand against the laziness. I do stand against the bumminess that is going on right now with American people. And it's not everybody, of course. Y'all know. It's not everybody, but you got a good amount of people that are abusing it and taking advantage. So I'm just going to end it here on it's useful when you absolutely need it. But now we're not going to have it because of the lazy bum ass people who single-handedly did nothing but complain and take as much as they could. So now it's time for a win. It's time for us to humble ourselves. It's time for all of us as American people to really do what needs to be done. And that's use this beautiful, beautiful brain that Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, gave us to become successful and to build things and to have things to create things that are going to be made useful. That's what we need to do right now. No more laziness. No more sitting on that couch. Get your ass up. Go to work. Utilize, again, that beautiful brain that we were definitely blessed with. Thank you guys for coming to my channel. I do appreciate you. I love you. And please, you guys, like, share, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Peace and blessings.